Join Dalton and Jacob as they discuss the ever-changing world of trading card games. TCG Buzz starts now.
Hey, Jacob. What's up, Buzz Squad? It's your boy, Dalton. Back at it again with Jacob hitting the wrong buttons. Right, Jacob?
I did a live show for another channel last night, and they were flipped, and I got confused.
I see. Well, what are we doing today?
We are continuing our long-running series of one previous episode of nitpicking and making fun of the worlds of Buddyifight. Last time we did Star Dragon World and brought up some great points about some of the problems it's faced since its release in the second season of Buddyifight. And that was really well received. People had a lot of great comments, and there was some really good debate and discussion that came from that. So I'm hoping we get the same again, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And we got super chats if anyone wants to support us.
We do, and we have Patreon, of course. If you like what we're doing, helps us keep the show running.
Something like that.
Keeps the lights on. Why did we choose Danger World for a second episode?
It was the only logical explanation, you know. It just seemed to be the right one to pick. None of the others seem to fit. Isn't that right?
Yeah, Dalton and I both have specific worlds we do want to talk about, but Danger's a really interesting one and a very interesting situation. Danger World's one of the first ever worlds. It was released as the second ever trial deck, which was released concurrently with the verse. You know, it was the Kagero to Royal Paladins, the Kaiba deck to the Yugi deck. You know, when it first came out, you had the Dragon World Armor Dragon deck and the Danger World deck, and they were meant to be together. And, you know, from it being the second most important world in the entire game to honestly one of the bottom of the barrel over the past couple of years is something I definitely want to talk about.
All those analogies would be so true if some of our points that we'll make actually followed through, if you know what I'm saying. Because yes, it was released with the Dragon World one, but there's many things that make it not the same as like the Kaiba structure deck or the Kagero structure deck.
Maybe, but at the time, Busho did push it as
This is true.
a primary important big playmaker world. It got a ton of support in the first two, I think, main boosters. I don't think it was in the third one. And then it had its own extra booster, which was literally called Dragon versus Danger. The two of them have, from the beginning, meant to be paired together like that. That stopped quite quick.
That's where it stopped right there. It stopped as soon as that set was released.
I will say, as a total aside, I mentioned that extra booster. That came with foiled flags as a box topper. You could get either the Dragon World one or the Danger World one. And they were in, like, classic double rare foiling. You know, our current foil for foils, I guess. And that's, as far as I know, the only time they've ever done that. So you can only get that type of flag for Dragon or Danger, and they look awesome.
This is true. I wish they did it with more, even though they kind of brought it back. But I don't like the foiling they used for it for Ace.
But I like the idea of a super simple flag, no character on it or anything, but still being shiny. I kind of wish they'd do like a re-release of all the flags like that.
With OG Star Dragon World border?
Yes.
So you want to get into this, you know, instead of dallying around and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, I guess I want to start with our general thoughts. Do you like Danger World? Are you a Danger World hater, a Danger World fan, or somewhere in the middle?
Well, they introduced the best archetype in the game. dual golems. Come on now. One of the best worlds.
Worlds?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm talking about Danger World.
I guess so. I never really got that into Danger World.
That's because you're a Magic World heathen.
Yes, I am. But I did finally find I gave attempts to several different decks over the years. I tried Armorknights when they first came out. I tried
did?
Aces when they first came out.
You did?
Yeah, I had an Ace deck and traded it to Christian, who became our Danger World guy. Fun fact, I traded that deck for a Purgatory Knight deck, which was also a mistake.
Didn't Christian just get that one back?
Yes. Yeah, like none of it clicked with me. I didn't like dual golems personally. Like they just didn't fit my playstyle. Too linear.
It's because you suck.
I think no. It's a cool deck, but it wasn't very fun for me to play.
Not about
So
fun.
I
It's about
was
being meta.
just like Danger's not for me. And then Godpunks come out, and I love Godpunks. So
Do you?
yeah, I absolutely do. In my top 3 favorite decks ever released for Buddyifight.
I wonder what the other 2 are. Even though I'm pretty sure I know what one of them is.
72 Pillars.
And we'll stop it there. How about that?
And Neo's Y at the height of its strength.
Oof. All right, so let's kind of get into this a little bit more. Let's talk about, I guess, the bad of Danger World. We gotta start off with the bad so we can bring you up with the good. We gotta break you down before we can build you up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One thing we won't be criticizing is for it straying from Danger World's original ideals, path. That really has never happened. Every deck they've released either was aggressive or it represented the other big thing for Danger, which was disruption. Every single Danger World deck fits one of those two. And Danger World did a pretty good job at sticking to what it did best. The big problem, gameplay-wise, there is other worlds started going over and going, I'll take a little bit of that. I'll take a little bit of that.
Yeah, sounds about right. Dragon World being the main one on that, and Magic World also doing that, and that world, this world, all those worlds type deal. Definitely seem like the more experimental world out of all the worlds, because
Especially early on.
Well, you can even argue now, kind of giving you this gimmick in a sense, but then later down the line, you get one of the other worlds to introduce an archetype that does it better.
I mean, Danger World was originally the world for destruction cards. Cards that wipe the board. They weren't very good, to be honest, even at the time, but there were a lot of them. And I feel like other worlds do that considerably better now.
Darkness Dragon World's a huge one on that.
Look at that.
Darkness Dragon World is huge on that. But then again, it also kind of makes sense too.
But also, Danger had that weapon focused, and there are other worlds that have definitely taken from that too.
Hey, Leviathan.
Yeah, Legend's a big one. Dungeon as well. I mean,
yeah, Dungeon has definitely evolved.
I remember us sitting having conversations in my bedroom that I had as a kid, and being like, "Man, any day now." This was in season 1, so that's how Jacob talked in season 1 of Buddyifight. Man, any day now we're gonna get dual wielding weapons in Danger World.
Yeet. Oh, it went straight to Dungeon. Even though I feel like Dungeon was copied more of Dragon World in the whole size 2, size 1, and item type formation, but that's besides the point.
And now
MATs.
Legend can do dual wielding.
Not dual wielding.
A billion wielding. Katana can because of Japanese blades? They got the one that can equip another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dungeon, I mean, that's all knights really do. Why no Danger dual wielding?
Because too strong. Let's be real, too strong. Do you really want me to come at you with 7 crit items? Let's be real.
I think I'd like to talk about one of the more minor things, but definitely impactful, particularly for competitive play, is the fact that when you're playing a world, you need a good mix of good archetype and archetypal support and good generic support. Generic support is killer. It's what keeps a world going. It's what makes it so decks aren't just a flash in a pan, you know? Particularly, every other world has key, great staple cards. Every single one of them. Magic World has nice one. I was going to say Cotton World has their spell no, and then I felt sad for a second.
Could have used Clear Serenity.
Clear Serenity would be a good one, yes. Hero World has its superhero time. Danger.
You should have used Hyper Energy because that one's older.
And all of these have tons of those. Danger World, I feel like, has the least amount of useful cards that are not archetype restrictive. And I think that's pretty fair to say because Danger World, spoilers, doesn't get support very often.
That's true.
And when they do give it support, it's always focused on either legacy support or new archetypes. So you very rarely get generic support in the world. The fact that in 2019 there isn't just a generic spell card for Danger World that says pay a gauge, search your deck for an item, and add it to your hand is insane.
Let's be fair. That would be a little broken.
I don't think so. I honestly don't. And if any world should have just a straight up item searcher, outside a dungeon, which has like how many cards that can search their items now, Danger should.
True. Dungeon does have a few of those, but I don't know. There's just something about Danger and having a generic item searcher that just seems a little busted to me, but that's just me. And going on lines of the support-wise, the longevity of decks for Danger World does not last long. It's kind of like, hey, we're out. And we kind of fell off the same time, except for Dual Golems.
Besides Dual Golems, which were a consistently good rogue deck, and Godpunks, who are kind of in the same vein.
Yeah, they're
every other Danger World deck was either completely unplayable or the best deck in the format for 1 week.
1 week, yeah. At least from what we've noticed, definitely. Because that's what happened to Tyrants. They were like banging when they initially came out, and then right when the tournament happened, they kind of fell off, but they were still a decent deck, but they just
don't forget
fell off.
Infinite Cradle was like that too.
Infinite Cradle,
Mummies.
Mummies, they're fantastic. Just fantastic. Aces kind of had that too, but like Dual Dragons, though, they didn't live up to my expectations.
No. Our friend Christian is a huge Demon Goldel fan.
Mm-hmm.
He loves Demon Goldel, and I think Demon Goldel is pretty cool, but he's not super unique anymore. But that deck just died to Magic World. And Christian only got paired up against Magic World when he tried to play it competitively.
This is true. But it was also kind of neat because it was like your size 2 boss monster that was basically Raging Spirits before Raging Spirits were a thing / DBS. So Demon Gold was really cool. I remember building his initial Dual Dragon build back in the day when we were all just scrubs that he topped with.
What do you mean? We're still scrubs.
Yeah, you right. Not like some of you guys watching.
Oh, wow. Pandering to the crowd.
Yeah, Dual Dragons definitely didn't live up to the hype that I had in place on them, which was going to be like this really neat, high defensive Danger World deck with the neat whole condition of, you have to have this many with a semi-mill in the deck, which never really happened, but that's besides the point. Armorknights, besides Mummies, they felt to me kind of lackluster. It was pretty cool to have the whole weapon focus and so forth, but they didn't seem to do much. Aces, fantastic, especially when you add them in with Mummies, with that one spicy Tekken.
I remember back in the day when Armorknight Golem was one of the most broken cards in the game.
Was it Golem? I know he had high defense, but wasn't there?
8,000 defense. That was it. That's
No,
all you
I'm
needed.
thinking of the tree that has 8,000
Armorknight
defense.
Trent, best card in the game.
That was after Mummies. Was it straight into Tyrants, or did Tyrants come out before Mummies?
Mummies first.
Mummies first.
Yep.
Is
Or maybe at the same time.
I don't remember.
I think
No, I think it was.
Mummies first.
I think it was after, wasn't it? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Tyrants, awesome. The whole life gain mechanic type deal being like major focus when life still mattered. 2019.
Okay, so it was the same time that they came out.
Okay.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to remember, so many sets that Dalton has burned through because buying so many boxes. But I really liked Tyrants too when they came out because it was just like a neat thing. And Dual Golem's best Danger World archetype, and you got that weak Godpunks or whatever.
Godpunks are amazing.
Yeah.
And it finally is a deck that goes back to the other part of because you have this strict line you can follow, right? From Armorknights to their Ace variants to Tyrants,
Variants.
and then to Dual Golems. They're pushing the world as just more aggro, more aggro, more aggro.
Well, I guess you can kind of break it down further than that because you have weapon focus, aggro, and what you're alluding to, disruption. So you kind of have Armorknights going all the way down their line because you got to count Tyrants because that's all Tyrants are, just Armorknights done as Tyrants.
Should have been called Armorknight Ace Ace.
No. And the Dual Golem's definitely probably the most aggro. It was so much fun doing the whole FTK on people and facing a mirror match round 1 that one year. So much fun. So much fun. And then Godpunks, their whole disruption thing, and Dual Dragons kind of being in there too, but yet kind
Dual
of.
Dragons are all over the place. Remember when, let's see, at one point they were a Graveyard Matters deck. At one
Graveyard
point they were a
Matters.
Life Gain deck.
Were they life gain?
Yeah. They
Oh,
had
I must have missed that.
on-enter life gain abilities where you trade Gauge for life. It was horrible. At one point, they were a wall deck because Demon Godel. At one point, they were a Death by Taxes deck, which was a really cool concept, but seriously underutilized.
And what was the cost on the set spell for the whole tax mattering piece of it? Was it Gauge or was it life?
I don't remember, honestly. But I remember it being really cool, and I'd love to see a new Death by Taxes deck in Buddyifight. And I think Danger World would be a reasonable spot for that, but probably Darkness Dragon, honestly.
I see Ancient World, but we talked about that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Grand Gadez. Grand Gadez was really good when it came out. It's probably like the one time I'd consider, like, in all of Buddyifights history, the Danger World to really be tier 1. Like, I guess the only other point would be really early Ace with Godpunks. They were topping quite consistently. But honestly, every other period, there was usually a better deck. And even then, like, Grand Gadez was just a worse version of Osbrodi. So,
Sure, whatever makes you sleep at night. Just because you're salty about that one match. I know. I can hear it in your voice. But yeah, all the decks had neat concepts and everything like that. They all seemed fun to play. But then Bushion supporting most of them. Because we can't count Godpunks yet. Because they're still in current Ace format. But like everything else always seemed like they got lackluster support. Except for Mummies. Which actually got fantastic support. Right, Jacob?
I think so. Tyrant's got it. That is a big thing, though. Like, Danger World Legacy support's generally really bad.
And I don't know why. Like, it's really weird because, like, it's so easy to give them decent, at least, support. Because, like, you showed that with Armorknight Mummy Reborn. Like, fantastic card. Like, you obviously can do it, Bushi, but, like, Why aren't you doing that for everything else?
I mean, if we added up, I'm not going to because I'm lazy, but like all the legacy support sets that Buddifight's done and count the cards, I'm pretty sure Danger World would have the least. I think that's pretty fair to say that it would have the least number of cards. And even then, there's an issue with a lot of them just not being good enough. The problem is Danger gets main set support so infrequently that it's constantly playing catch up outside of that cycle.
Right.
And that's really sad.
And for Bushi, like, I know in general it's kind of hard to keep some archetypes up to date with like how the game is now. But I feel like Danger World's one of those weird exceptions. If they got the right support throughout the years, they easily could have matched everything and be at least a tier 1.52 type deck every single year if they gave them the right support. Versus like, what's a good example? We'll just use Ozens. How about that? How Ozens, you cannot.
Did you just name drop Ozens in our Danger World?
Hey, I have to, for one specific reason, to be like, there's literally no way you can just catch Ozens up to like today's meta, in my eyes. There might be a way, you guys probably know some way to do it, but like, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. And like, Bushi, why you don't give us more Danger support?
I think part of it is Bushido just doesn't know what to do with the world. You know, we got to the point where they could not out aggro anymore. You know, dual golems were an extreme point for that, and sure, they're going to show their age over time, but they went so far in one direction, Bushido couldn't just release another deck doing the same thing, but better right after. I mean, can you imagine if they tried to, like, right now give us a new OTK, FTK deck that's better than dual golems?
Dual golem aces?
Yes, basically, yeah.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I love it.
So they had to focus on another element of Danger World, and I think they did a good job. I'm worried, though, about what they'll do next time we're coming out with a real new archetype, not an April Fool's Day joke.
And I guess another major reason on why it's so hard to support, as chat kind of brought up, is the whole identity theft thing that we brought up earlier, on how they introduce a playstyle and then another world comes through and is like, thank you, walks away with it, and Danger Worlds are like, we gotta come up with something new, gotta be dangerous somehow. So, yeah.
Well, that's part of the problem is Danger World really doesn't have variance in decks. There's one specific strategy you're going for. It's what Bushido wants you to go for. There's very little experimenting and customizing allowed in the world. You know, you don't have crazy loopy decks like you get in Dragon Eye all the time or Magic World or something that do weird things. You know, Magic World had a deck that was seriously considered decent that literally ran like no monsters. You know.
They had a Spell Matters deck?
Yes.
I don't remember.
But like to an extreme degree. It was kind of crazy.
Was it a wizard deck?
No, it was a 72 pillars deck.
Oh, then
but
I don't
really
care.
not. It was like 90%
was it a weird
spells.
Oh, okay.
But my point I'm trying to get to is the fact that
You want dangerous veggies.
if the fundamental problem with this is every year you get one new danger deck. There have been a couple exceptions, but primarily you get one per year. Season 1, we got 2 because it was the start, but really, honestly, we got 1.25 because dual
dragons. See, it's hard because you have two duels and you want to say the better of the two.
And then Season 2, you didn't get any new archetype. You just got more support for those between more Ace support and
What wasn't Ace
Grangadez
introduced in
seasons.
100? Or am I...
No, it was introduced in the
Was it?
first one in the
Was it?
Extra
Okay.
Booster. And then in the third season, you get Tyrants and Mummies, which are, you know...
Well,
kind of-
mummies are really just Armorknights because they are Armorknight, mummy, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah.
But they're also a small wave of support. You know, they're not...
Mhm.
It wasn't 25 cards coming out. And then you get just Dual Golems in the next season. And then you get just Godpunks in the next season. And there are other worlds that have had that happen where you only get one deck in a season.
I got it. I know how to solve this. It's very simple. The next Mikado Danger World user. That's the only way we get multiple archetypes in there. Only way. That's the only way I see it. Don't you agree?
Sure. Why don't we just put the two worlds together at this point? Basically the same.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, that's right. One of them has shields.
But
But
I was saying because now you're adding a spell null into the other.
oh yeah, that's bad. Adding to my point though, because you only get one deck per year, and because Danger World's legacy support is awful.
Legendarily awful.
Yeah, like you get one choice for a Danger World deck if you're a Danger World fan. If you don't like that year's deck, you're screwed. And it also, because the Danger World decks tend to be very linear, you're not doing different things each game, you're doing the same thing. Rushing to damage or drawing into discard cards, that kind of thing. You've got
A very simplistic but effective.
Right. No matter how you're doing it, your goal is to do the same thing, punch the wall until it breaks kind of deal. And that's cool, and they do really well at that, but some people get bored of that and want to do something different. And other worlds, you get bored of how your deck plays, you can switch it around or try something weird. You can't really do that with Danger World.
Yes. Sorry, I got distracted with my notes. And I kind of phased out / didn't phase out.
I'd also like to say, and I don't know if you'll agree with this, but new players should not pick up Danger World.
I disagree.
Here we go. My fundamental point with this is because Danger World decks last so little in meta relevance, in general, they're not a good pickup for someone's first deck. Ideally, you'd want something that's long-lasting so they can learn to play it, but continue to have the deck grow as their experience as a player grows. I don't like when I'm, teaching a new player to, if I'm going to give them a deck or something to keep, I'm not going to give them a fully completed deck because I want to help them, jump in and, start spreading their wings themselves, if that makes sense. And I feel Danger World's probably of every world. Like, the only thing you could do worse than give a new player a Danger World deck is give them a Dragonine deck.
I don't know. Giving him a 72 pillar deck is pretty bad too.
No. Dude, I'm considering 100 Demons a better choice for a starting deck than a Danger World deck.
I'm okay with this being a 100 demon player as well. But I see it, but still I feel like Danger World would probably be the best deck to give to a new player because of how simple it is to play. But maybe even giving them another world on the side to kind of see what they do with that one, because that one can always be upgraded and so on and so forth. But still get the basics down with the Danger World deck, in my opinion.
I think people are curious in chat now, talking about what decks to give to new players, and I find that interesting. Maybe we'll do something on that specifically in a separate video at some point. I kind of like that idea.
Why? You give out horrible suggestions, It's
Oh, wow. It's not like I've gotten like 20, 25 people into the game.
And who got you into the game?
Christian.
And who got Christian into the game?
Nobody.
Switch it.
I feel uncomfortable.
I am the centipede of this group.
Wow. Yeah, I really think, not just for new players, but I'll be frank. In general, Danger World's a bad investment for your money. Like, if you're going to buy singles, you're going to buy boxes to build a specific deck. I think you'll get the least amount of value in general out of Danger World, out of any world. Danger World has very few staple cards that end up seeing long-term play. Danger World has very few legacy cards that see long-term play. You're not going to want to play with those cards a year and a half later. And because Danger World's usually about just, big swings and whatnot, numbers are the easiest thing in the game to power creep.
This is true. Very true. Yeah, I guess, making solid points, but I still stand by what I said earlier. What else is chat saying over there? I see you keep glancing over at it.
Nothing crazy, just suggestions and stuff for what they think Bushiroad should be doing with Danger. I think.
Well, okay, yeah. Go ahead.
No. What were you gonna say?
No, go ahead. Just go ahead.
I think overall, Danger World's biggest problem. I mean, if you can sum up Danger World's problems into one word, Jacob.
It is in one world, if you know what I'm saying.
It's neglect.
Fair.
And I'm saying that as a Magic World player. Things have gotten a little better for Magic World in the past year. Still not great. But, Magic World players got hit hard with a big 2-ish year drought. And that really sucked. But, Danger World's drought was not as extreme. But it's been going on since the beginning, and it kind of still hasn't stopped.
Fair. The only way I see well, not the only way, but probably the best way to solve Danger World's problems is if they do a reboot, but only of Danger World, starting back over with Armorknights and Dual Dragons and reintroduce them, revamped for Ace or Season 6, and continuing off from that, and then hopefully, this is also Bushi we're talking about, can keep them relevant for a long amounts of time. That's probably the best case scenario. In my eyes, there's probably other ones that people have and so forth, or that you can come up with as well, but I feel like that's a pretty easy way, and hope if it happens, simple enough to keep up to date.
You know what I want to see them improve with Danger World? Here's my wish list. Wish list item number 1, give us better generic support. I want that item searcher. I want that whatever, cards that can be used by any Danger deck, that way all current and future decks can rely on those cards in their card pool, something that is severely lacking. 2, give us a Death by Taxes deck. That's pretty dang cool. 3, make your legacy support for Danger World not filler pack garbage. That's all you need to do to fix it, honestly. I don't even care if we stick to one deck per season. I don't even care if they're linear as hell. That's Danger World. I don't have a problem with those things. It's weird because, in Star Dragon World's case, when we did that last time, which you should totally watch if you haven't, it felt like there was a lot
hand traps would work too.
Fundamentally wrong with Star Dragon World. In this case, it's like death by 1,000 little cuts.
Or even
that'll be your next Danger World deck.
Death by 1,000 little cuts. Or even giving them hand traps instead of just spells, making them wild dragons. Sort of, kind of. Weirdly enough.
All right.
Hey, I'm just repeating what the chat's saying,
What do you think? What do you think they need to do?
Did you not hear what I said?
No, I did, but do you have anything else?
Just actually try to give good support. Look at how you did Armor Knight, Mummy Reborn, and try to implement how to do that with all the other archetypes and the real Armor Knights to truly revamp or just reboot Danger World in general.
All I'm saying is if Cardians and Shadow Shades can get awesome legacy support, Danger World can too.
Fair point.
Also, give Godpunks their own archetype specific obstruct. Do it. Please, Daddy Bushi, do it. Do it.
But there is one thing that's not necessarily surrounded around Danger World that I'd just like to bring up outside of the 2 cancerous decks that came out of that season. X introduced probably the best support-wise for those decks that I've seen. I don't know if you agree with that or not. Because, like, look at Oni Assassins, look at Dual Golems, look at Leviathan, look at Plague. Even though they were introduced stupidly late.
Oh, well, don't spoil our Magic World episode.
Hey. I'm beyond. Like, why can't we have that kind of be the case for our legacy support? Like, X, as much as it was cancerous, it had one thing right, and that was how it supported the decks of that time. If Bushi could somehow format that into how they do legacy support, I think things could be a lot better.
Also have one more nitpick, and this is nitpicky, but Danger World by far has the least number of high rarity cards for Buddyifight. Between SPs and Buddy Rares, you just don't have very many at all. Especially in the modern day. I mean, we have not gotten a single one this entire season. Like, we did get the championship promo of Brawl Zeus, but that was it, and that's a very high-end collector item. We don't have any high-rarity cards you can get in packs from this entire season, and I don't think... Well, X had the one for the original Draw Golem, and then I think one other. I'm not sure. At least one.
SPs?
But, yeah, SPs.
No, just the original, I believe. That, yeah, only the original had an SP. The others were triple rare or double rare / secret.
Obviously, not every single archetype needs a Buddy Rare or SP, but, I mean, look at Gargantua Awaken. Why? Dragon, I know Dragon... Ancient, Star Dragon were the focus in the set, but they all got Buddy Rares, SPs, and Secret Packs, and then Danger World got literally none of those things.
Yeah, that just shows you how much Bushi cares, right?
I know Tyrant Cerberus got a Buddy Rare, but I don't think there were no SPs at the time.
I don't think there was...
Oh, no, they had just come back in that set, but he didn't get one.
I don't think he got...
But he got a Buddy Rare. OG Armorknight Demon has a Buddy Rare that was done in the Golden Buddy pack. And I think, Demon Gold in the same set. And there are a couple SPs and stuff out of the Dragon versus Danger set. And then there's...
Hopefully.
Then there's the Grand Gadez ones. And that's the list, I think, honestly.
I think that's about right. You know, if we're wrong, I'm pretty sure you guys will let us know. But definitely needs more high rarities, so you rarity folks can get your fix. I know how much you need it.
Give me Godpunk SPs.
No.
I know the current SP border is my least favorite of the SP borders they've done and designs they've done, but I would still very much like one for Brawl Zeus for form number 3 whenever that happens.
Gonna happen. There's another thing that's not related to Danger World, but could be cool. Because of my hatred of the new style of SPs. Bring back OG SPs of spells. I know how much you would like that. You know, dang well you'd like
it.
Spells are
cool, but it's not gonna happen.
Just let me finish, man. Because technically they are coming back, but just with the new style. And kind of give us something like that. Just, I don't know. That would be pretty cool. Just imagine getting like an Armorknight reuse SP. It'd be cool.
You're crazy, man. Yeah, high rarity stuff is, the more I think about it, a kind of a big thing. You know, it shows that they don't care enough about Danger World.
But yet, from what I've noticed, when we open boxes and so forth, we tend to pull more foils of Danger World cards versus everything else, which I kind of find funny when we talk about the better high rarity stuff in my eyes, like SPs, buddy rares, things of that nature, where foils kind of seem like they're just thrown at us because they're all like, this deck's probably going to be out of play in a few weeks or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When I see Danger World, I'm just disappointed, man. I'd love to see it back in the glory, you know? The fact that Dragon World is still shoehorned down everyone's throats every single set, yet the world it was meant to be paired with, you know, the world that introduced Buddyifight alongside it.
The true rival of Gao, Ryuga, just falls off the face of the earth.
Just like his world.
Now some good things about Danger World, huh?
Yeah.
Let's build these people back up. I think we've broken them down enough. I just realized my notes only had bad things on it. Does your notes have anything good on it?
No, but I can wing it. Yeah, we're going to end off because we like to say what we like about the world at the end. You know, if we're spending a half an hour to an hour cutting a world down, always helps to say what you do like about it. I like the border for Danger World.
Wow.
I'm just saying, like,
that is
as far as Buddyifight borders go, it's one of my favorites.
Wow. Arguably the second best secret flag in the game, in my eyes. First one being the Gremlin secret flag, because me and Gremlin just have this connection. Not because of Deep. Like, Deep has its issues, but me and Gremlin, we just align so much. What else? Dual Golems, because honestly, one of their best decks they ever created. Mummies for the best meme to ever happen in Buddyifight that we never thought was going to happen.
To Austin Summers for topping with mummies.
Right?
I really like how Danger World's the one world that has not been consumed by the dragons. You know, of all the archetypes, there's one dragon archetype, right? And that's dual dragons.
Yes, but it also depends on how you view dual golems. Because Draw Golem is obviously dragon
right
golem.
But you know,
but I understand what you're going with. Oh, I just had one. I had it. I lost it. You brought up dragons.
Now Dalton's just thinking about dragons.
You got anything else over there, sir? You know, you haven't really said too much.
I like how when they do go and experiment with a couple cards and give an interesting concept or cycle, they can do some really interesting things. What was the?
I got what I was gonna say. The even though it was like short time lived, the Tyrant Armorknight deck, like that kind of mashup, and I guess Danger World has a little better of an engine like that, where you can kind of mix and match the right types a little bit better, versus a lot of the other worlds and how difficult it is for them.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Also, forgive me if I remember its name wrong. I've been sitting here trying to remember its name for a little bit. Demon Slay. What
about Demon Slay?
Demon Slay is like the first archetype we ever really got that was not monster focused.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that concept. That sounds really cool. I want to see more of that type of thing. Well, knowing Bushi, it'll be stolen by another world, but
it was. You do realize that, right?
Who stole it?
Guards.
Yeah, but I mean,
because that was kind of the whole gimmick was Demon Slays you either mill, you got to Demon Slay more effects, or if you have a Demon Slayer in your drop, this happens, or if you have this many of this Demon Slayer card in drop, effect gets weaker type deal.
You know, in 5 years, they're going to release, like, the veggie cards exactly as they were printed, and they would be, like, not good. They'll be power crept.
Power crept out of existence in 5 years. We do need our veggies. Veggies actually look like a really fun deck. I don't know if you watched the video or not, but dangerous veggies, man.
Yep.
That curry. Whew. Look pretty spicy.
I've been wanting a food archetype forever.
Yeah.
And now we get it, but Bushiroad's like throwing shade at me because they're like, you got to eat vegetables, man. You got to be healthy. I'm like, man.
Oh, that's your problem with it?
Yeah.
Not the fact that it was on April 1st?
No. They're throwing shade, calling me fat, man.
No, that's just me. What else good? You had anything else good over there, sir, for Danger World?
I really like, this is going to sound weird, but I really like the people who like Danger World. Like the hardcore Danger World fans are some of the like coolest of the hardcore Buddyifight fans. You know, because there is a huge group of people who love one specific world and are dedicated to it. And every world has at least a few, and I've met some.
Dangerous Twinkie. Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, that's good, guys. How do you feel about Dangerous Twinkie?
I've totally lost what I was talking about.
Thanks, Chronicle. Actually, should we get a power reboot for Buddyifight to rebalance the game and give back identity to each world? This includes Danger.
I would have said yes 6 months ago, but seeing just how bad the Vanguard one went. No, but yes, but not for a couple more years. I'd say
Give it some more time.
even with the anime being postponed, I do feel that Ace needs to run its course, let it have its full generation, and then we can talk about a reboot.
You know, speaking on that, even though it means nothing at all for where I'm going with this, kind of going back on the whole fact that Danger World's kind of like the experimental world. Do you think that's when we're going to get our banished deck from? If Bushi ever decides to release one?
Please, everyone, press F in chat. I just realized that I've been watching this entire live stream on my phone at 1080p and my Wi-Fi was turned off.
Sucks to suck. But yeah, what do you
think?
think?
Got a big old warning saying you've gone over your data limit. Give us money.
But honestly, what do you think about that? Like, do you think that could be a possibility with how experimental Danger World has been? If Bushi decides to implement a banished deck theme, not talking about Lost World and how that works, but
Danger needs something, but I can see that easily just being off into Darkness Dragon World or something. I don't know,
Darkness Dragon World,
some new special flag.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. You know, yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
You know, you know how a bunch of the Armorknights get retrains as Armorknight aces?
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever do Armorknight? I want Armorknight Polar Bear and Armorknight Trent.
I don't think those ones got one.
I don't think so.
But I think the next one is Armorknight Buster Aces because Cerberus Buster Ace, right? Was it an ace? You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Let's end this episode. It's getting weird.
All right. So if you enjoyed this episode, I know I did, especially that whole dangerous Twinkie. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like on this video. Thanks for joining us in chat. If you're watching this after the fact, leave a comment down below on what you think about Danger World. Follow us on Instagram. Join our Discord if you want to continue this talk. You can support us on Patreon or check out our shop. All links will be in the description down below. Jacob, any final words for me? Because I'm a Danger World player.
Danger World's pretty cool. Do. I will say real quick, though, let us know what world you want to see next.
Yeah, and see if Dalton rejects that option. I'm very particular on how I want to do this for some reason. I don't know why. And above all else, thanks again, Chronicle, for the super chat. Stay classy, y'all.
Thanks for listening to TCG Buzz. New episodes can be found on tcgbuzz.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For box openings, deck profiles, and more, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.